Hi, everybody. We are live and we are in a different situation this week. We are in my actual kitchen instead of just having a background screen of my kitchen. My name is Anita, and if this is your first time here, welcome. I have a really special guest tonight. She is a trained culinary chef. I know her as Chef Patty. You probably know her as Carnivore Hippie. Because she does have a YouTube channel. All that will be linked below. And I met her in Tennessee on the Carnivore Retreat. Tonight, we're going to be talking about tools, kitchen tools. Hopefully you can hear me now.
Oh yeah, I couldn't. I thought it was my fault.
Okay, no, not your fault. This is like, what happens when we're live sometimes. Okay, so first of all, I want to just say that thank you to the moderators tonight. We've got Bonnie, Melissa, and Sherry out there. They are in the live chat helping to keep things moving along and to answer questions and provide links. So I want to thank them very much. There's no giveaway tonight. I do have a video of the week. It's Dr. Barry's interview with Dr. Shanahan, all about seed oils. You have to listen to it. It is excellent. I'm more determined than ever after listening to that to avoid seed oils. I'm going to link that at the bottom. For now, let's talk about what we're doing here tonight. Let's bring Chef Patty on so she can wave hi. So she's in her kitchen, I'm in my kitchen. If you guys want to know Chef Patty's backstory, I have linked our interview also down in the video notes. We did that a while ago. We have that video with the thumbnail. Maybe we don't have the thumbnail. I'm not sure. I was going to show it. But Chef Patty has lost about 120 pounds or more, for those of you that don't know. So there you go. We also, for those of you that are new here, I've lost 145 pounds. So Chef Patty, and oh, there's mine. So maybe Chef Patty's picture will show up too. There we go. I see it coming. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, technical crew. There's Chef Patty's before and after, and the link for the interview is down there. So her and I have both been there. We know what it's like. We know how it feels. We know what needs to be done, and we both love to cook. You can have a fantastic time on the carnivore diet, even if you love to cook. It is not in the least bit, to me or to Chef Patty, I know, boring. It is not boring. It is amazing. So please check out her YouTube channel because, okay, so first of all, I want to thank you for your brisket video the other night. Do you know why? Do you know? I know how to make a brisket.
You were gonna make it for having a bunch of guys over. Yeah.
Yes. Now, originally, I was going to smoke my brisket because I do have a little mini Traeger. We had a big storm, and the patio, it wasn't really a big storm, but there was a freak wind that came in, took out the glass table out on the patio. There was glass everywhere. It was windy. I decided I'm going to do an overnight brisket instead, and I had just watched your video. And I made it just the way that you made it, with the au jus and everything. It was excellent. So go to her channel and watch. That is yet another way to make a brisket. But let's talk kitchen tools. So when we were in Tennessee, we had some great stuff to work with, but we also had some crappy stuff to work with. They left us the dullest knives in the world. But Chef Patty, being a professional, she came prepared. She had her set of knives. Now, you mentioned your favorite knives. I have one of those knives. I was so proud to know that I picked out a good knife. Tell us about yours.
Well, let's just start with the Victorinox. This is my Victorinox. This is my 8-inch boning knife or 9-inch. I don't remember, but anyway, and it is. I'm not used to it. It goes backwards.
That's
Uh,
okay.
uh, it is this knife is $30, and that's not particularly expensive for a knife, but
Right.
it is wicked sharp. I have cut myself on this knife more times than I'm ashamed to say how often I've cut myself on this knife. But it's it's made by the same people who make the Swiss Army knife, and it
I
is.
didn't know that. I did not know
Yes,
that.
yes, Victorinox. Victorinox is the company that became first famous for making the pocket knives for the Swiss Army, and the
Oh,
Swiss Army knife is
okay.
indeed a pocket knife issued to the Swiss Army. Okay, so um, Victorinox knives they're very well priced, and like I said, this one's $30, which is hardly anything. Um, and it's really good brand. Although I will say later on, as we talk about other things, I don't want people to buy for brand. You can look for brand because that might give you a guide, but I don't want people to buy for brand. But uh, if you happen to have Victorinox, you can use any of the Victorinoxes. They're really really good and really well priced. What I do want to talk about in general is uh, uh, the way knives are made. A lot of
Oh,
times, and
okay.
you'll see this in the Victorinox, you'll see that the blade is more like attached to the handle
Yeah.
rather than the handle attached to the blade. And in the case of the Victorinox, I'm not really concerned about that because my experience with them says that they're not going to come apart. However, most knives that are constructed this way, the the tang down inside the handle, the part of the knife that attaches to the handle, is very short and it's not really bonded very well. And you'll see knives that'll last a few years, and then the knife will come out of the handle, and there will be like this much tang
Okay.
down in there, and that's a problem because what happens is that puts too much stress on this section of the knife right here, and that starts to loosen up. So that's the problem. So when you're looking for knives that are not too expensive, but you want a good knife that's going to last you, what you want to look for. This is not an expensive knife either. The brand is Craft Kitchen, but I want you to look at it. I want you to notice. I'm going to turn it this way,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to notice how the knife the blade of the knife travels all the way down. This is called the
Okay.
tang, right? So this is called a full tang knife. And if you look at it, you can see that the handle is attached to the blade and not the other way around. You don't have the blade attached to the handle. You can see, gosh, I
Okay.
can't how to get used to that. You can see this part here is called the bolster or the guard, and it protects your fingers from the sharp end of that. So you can use the entire length of the blade, okay? And you can see the rivet.
Yes.
This knife cost me $11, okay?
Okay.
And I want to show you something else. I want to show you this knife over here. Now it's a larger knife because I don't have a paring knife in this brand. This is a German knife. It's called a trident. And it's a knife that's very commonly used by professional chefs. And I won this in a contest actually because I never would have bought it for myself because
Oh, nice.
this came in a set that was probably, gosh, I must have won it about 25 years ago in a contest, in a cooking contest. And it was probably about $250 for the set at the time. And I
Wow.
want you to
Yeah.
see, you can see the tang
Yeah.
all the way down. You can see the bolster is similar,
Yep.
and you can see the rivets are similar. This, if you went to buy this knife, yes, I got to get used to that. If you went to buy this knife online right now, you wouldn't be able to buy exactly this model because it's too old. But it's like I said, it's 25 years old and it looks brand new. It is a great knife. It's my slicer, and it stays nice and sharp. I've sharpened it any number of times, and you can see the edge of the knife isn't this misshapen at all. But anyway, this is a German knife. This is probably a $150 to $200 knife if you went to buy it right
Wow.
now.
Yeah.
And basically, the biggest difference between this knife here and this knife here, besides the size, is probably the quality of the stainless steel. But a home cook doesn't need the same hardness of stainless steel that a
Right.
professional,
Right.
because they don't sharpen their knives as much. So
Yeah.
you can get good
True.
quality knives for good prices, and that's what you want to look for: your rivet,
Th-
your
okay.
tang, and your bolster right there.
This brings up a question that I always have on my mind. What is, like, if somebody can only afford, say, one or two good quality knives, they're willing to spend some budget on a great knife. What is
Okay.
your workhorse knife? Like, what would you choose?
Well, now you got me because I'm talking about cheap knives, but I think a an 8 inch, 6 to 8 inch chef's knife. I have right here. Here's my granddaddy. That's my 10 inch
Okay.
trident chef's knife. That's the
Okay.
chef. That's the knife that's the workhorse for a professional chef right there. Right.
Okay.
That's a big knife though. A lot of people. I mean, it's even big for me. Look at the size. Look at my hand on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Right.
find mine is pretty big too. I think this is a good 10 inches.
Yeah. So, but if you don't need a 10 inch knife, you don't need a 10 inch knife. Um, Also, another thing that I like is, I know this is a little cheap one, but it's really handy. It's called a Santoku. And I use these a lot. You can see the little divots.
Yeah. I've
So you
seen
can see
these.
that helps the food from not stick to the blade so that you don't
Oh,
have to
okay.
stop and scrape the food off of it, so much. Sometimes you do anyway. But anyhow, this is a real handy knife. It's really easy to work with. It's a Japanese design, hence the name. And you can buy them relatively inexpensively. This brand is called Core, and I like it. It's a really inexpensive brand. I think this knife costs $6 or $7.
Wow. What is it made
And
out of?
it's made out of metal. It's just anodized with the paint color.
Okay.
They come in all kinds of colors nowadays. You can get them on Amazon. But I like them. They're inexpensive. They're not going to last you for years and years like my Trident will or like the Victorinoxes will. But
Right.
they're handy. They're sharp, and they come with this cool little blade cover that helps keep the blade sharp in the drawer and helps keep you from cutting yourself. And I really like that. So, and this is I think a 5 inch,
Okay.
and you can see how my hand fits on it.
Yeah.
So it's real handy and uh, easy to wield and handle. You want a knife that isn't so long that you can't manipulate it. You
Yeah.
want to be able
I
to turn
saw
it.
you using this one a lot at the retreat.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, that's because it's so handy. And like I say, it's inexpensive, but inexpensive isn't
Okay.
necessarily a bad thing if you know
Right.
what you're looking
Right. Yeah.
for.
Okay. Okay.
The Santoku or like a 6 or 8 inch chef's knife. Whatever is
Okay.
comfortable in your hand is going to be your go-to.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I think probably lots of people would like that information. So thanks for
Mhm.
that. So I did have a couple of questions ahead of time from people that were not able to be here tonight. So one of them is what's the best way to season a cast iron pan? What do you do? Or do you have a cast iron pan?
I do have cast iron. Um, I My own personal preference is I have a glass top cook. I have a glass cooktop, and I'm actually kind
Oh
of
yeah.
scared of the
Yeah.
cast iron on my glass cooktop. The reason I have a glass cooktop is not because that's what I prefer. It's because I live in Tennessee and natural gas is not much of a thing here. It's pretty rare to have a house that has natural gas, which I would prefer. But the I had to replace the house I moved into had I moved away from the West Coast from California into Tennessee. And everybody in California and pretty much all over the West Coast has gas. I see you've got gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So but I have a glass cooktop and it scares me because the thought of dropping a cast iron skillet on my glass cooktop. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
use it very much. I do like them. My personal, my favorite way to do it is to take the brand new pan and get yourself, and this is one of the few times you might want to invest in some soybean oil. Okay. Get yourself, seriously, because you're not going to eat it, right?
Right. Right.
Some soybean oil or even some Crisco. Um, fill the pan about halfway full of soybean oil or melted Crisco and put it in the oven for 350 at 350 and just leave it in there for about 3 hours.
Oh,
And then
really? Okay.
throw the oil away.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Please don't eat the oil, you
Please
guys.
don't,
Please don't.
please don't eat
Watch
that.
the video. Watch the video of the week.
But even if you put good fat in it, which you can do this with any kind of fat, even if you put good fat in it, I wouldn't recommend you eat that fat
Right.
anyway.
It's been cooking for, yeah.
Right. And then you take the fat out and you wipe most of the fat out, almost pretty much everything but a thin film. Wipe it with a paper towel, then put it back in the oven for about another hour.
Okay.
Now, that's not going to make your pan perfect. It's not going to turn it into a Teflon pan. The only thing that's going to make your cast iron super nonstick is continued use. So you're still going to have to use fat in it and you're going to have to continue cooking on it. But for an initial treatment, that's what I would do. And please don't put soap in your cast iron pans. You'll hear people go, "Oh, of course you can put soap in your cast iron pan. You just have to rinse it out right quick." Well, why would you put soap in it when you're trying to build up a patina, a patination? Because that just makes it's like two steps forward, one step back. So if you do want to cook in cast iron and you want it to stay appropriately seasoned, uh, don't cook anything acidic in it. Don't
Okay.
don't I personally don't cook like long cooked liquidy items like stew in cast iron. I mean, I suppose if you're stuck with it and that's what you have, I suppose that's okay. But I usually use my cast iron for baking and for frying or stuff like that. And uh, when you're done with it, you can rinse it out with hot water and then scrub it out with some fat and some coarse salt
Okay.
and and
That's good.
like a stiff brush or a paper towel, scour it. Yep, and just clean it that way. And if you're
Okay.
worried about whether it needs to be sanitized, heat it up on the stove for a few minutes.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Because I've seen people on YouTube going, I never wash my pan. They just use the same pan over and over
Yeah,
again when
well,
it's
I mean,
cast iron.
yeah, if there's, just because somebody doesn't wash something doesn't mean they don't clean it.
I know. I know.
But
Okay.
oil
All
and
right.
salt.
Okay, thank you. And I think now, based on what you just said, I know the answer to this next question about what you prefer, whether you prefer a cast iron or a stainless steel. And ever since the retreat, I've been using my stainless steel a lot more. This is one of my favorite pans. And this is what I used to make the jus the other day for the brisket, and I made it exactly the way you described in your video. So I appreciate that you shared how to do that from start to finish, because I never would have made mine I never would have done it the way you did it. I just reduced it down. I didn't realize that, then you hydrated it and reduced it down again. It was so good. So if you guys haven't seen that video, you have to see how she does the sauce. I call it sauce just because a lot of people, when I say jus, they don't know what I'm talking about. But she makes this great gravy. So easy, nothing added. It's 1,000% carnivore. There's nothing else you need to add to it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. So I imagine you use, because of your glass top, you are using this a lot, right? Your stainless steel pan.
I don't have a lot of steel pans, and that's because the surface I find can be problematic, can be difficult, especially for like frying. You do tend to have to use a lot of fat, and not that that's a problem, but
Right,
when you're frying in fat, then you have moisture in the food, and then you have spattering, and there's
right.
there's
Yeah.
there's a give and take. Um, my favorite skillet, this is a brand called All Clad, and it's
All
coated.
clad. Okay.
Uh-huh. And this is a pricey brand, but I found this at my local TJ Maxx. If anybody's familiar with that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a they buy seconds, but they buy higher end seconds. This is probably about a $40 skillet at the regular store, even more if you go to like some of the bougie stores. But I got this,
Right.
I think, for like $19 at TJ Maxx.
Okay.
And this
That's
has
good.
an anodized coating, and it's relatively nonstick. It's not entirely nonstick, but it's also temperature safe up to 500 degrees, right? And so as
Wow.
long as you're careful, there's a lot of coated cookware that is okay to use. And I just, while I'm here, I wanted to say, um, cookware in general, pans, first rule is don't buy brands. I said that before about the knife.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't buy a brand. There's lots of fancy brands out there. All Clad is one of them. Calphalon, uh, Cuisinart, KitchenAid. They're very high-end brands, but
Right.
all of those high-end brands also have a cheaper line that they sell in places like Walmart. Okay,
Okay.
so and there are like brands that are considered bargain brands like Farberware or Revereware or Tramontina that have some very good cookware out there. So I tell people don't buy brand, learn what indicates a quality piece of cookware and buy according to that. Like for instance,
Oh,
see
yeah.
this
That makes a
handle?
lot of sense. Yeah.
It's stainless steel.
Yep.
It doesn't have any silicone or plastic on the on the grip, which a lot of people like, but that means you have a hard time putting it in your oven. Okay. I always like things that I can take in and out of my oven. So that's the first thing.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
second thing is, or if you can see it, you see the
Yep.
handle? The handle is bolted to the pan, and you can see the bolts go all the way through.
Yes.
See? So, and also use cookware that is the heaviest you can comfortably handle. There's no point in getting cookware that's so heavy that you can't use it. But the super, super lightweight stuff that's made out of aluminum, I don't care what it says on the label, it's not going to last and it's probably going to overheat. And any pan can put off fumes if it's overheated
Yeah.
because most of them have a coating on the outside as well.
Okay.
So, all right. And I will
Well.
say one caveat about inexpensive cookware.
Okay.
This is a super, super lightweight aluminum pan and it's got a Teflon coating. Okay. And it doesn't have the bolted handle. It has a little screw down here. Ordinarily,
Mm-hmm.
I avoid those. But the caveat is I only use this for cooking eggs. So it never gets too hot and it never has, and I never put anything heavy in it. And that's just for my own convenience.
Okay.
So I
Right.
don't have to worry about the handle being bolted on because it's only ever got eggs in it. So, you know, there's you don't have to be a snob about cookware. All cookware is purpose specific.
Okay.
So if you want generally, this is what you look for. But if you have a purpose for that kind of a pan, go for it.
Well, those are some great tips. Like I've already learned all kinds of things.
Mhm.
Before we head to the audience questions, because I can see they're starting to build up over there, which is great. Lots of questions is great. So one thing I was wondering, I have a feeling that we all have this. What do you have in your kitchen? Do you have any purchase that you had to have it, you got it, and now you regret it? Maybe you've only used it
Oh,
once or twice.
yeah. I didn't pull it out, but here, let me right here.
All right. Oh, a square. Okay.
No, it's not the square part. It's the coating. You see the handle?
Okay.
The handle is just
Yes.
what I look for.
Yes.
And this was supposed to be, this is one of those like supposedly heat safe non-stick things, the ceramic coating, and I found it at a discount store and it wasn't too expensive and I thought, you know, this might come in handy at all
Okay.
try. It convinced me. And like I've used it like 3 or 4 times and I'm looking for
Okay.
somebody I can pawn it off on because
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
these these ceramic coated ones, so they call it diamond or
Yep.
Gotham
Yeah.
steel, all of those foolish things. I mean, I've never had one of these that I was fond of.
Okay. Let me
Oh,
show you. Let me show you something down here that I was sure I was going to use this one a lot. I think I've
what is
used
that?
it twice. It's a crepe pan. Yeah. You know, you can make them in just I can use like this is a really heavy pan.
Yeah,
You can make them in there. So maybe I've used it twice. Maybe.
this, if I want to make small ones, this is the pan that I use.
Okay. Okay.
I have a sort of a bigger one that I use for if I want to make bigger ones, like I'm making my carnivore noodles. They make them like crepes, and this is the one that I
Yep.
use. And it's
Okay.
like you see the handle is similar,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you use an air fryer?
I do. Oh,
Yes,
my
good.
air fryer is
I thought
across the room, but yeah, I do. And
I thought I was gonna get a comeuppance here because I thought Chef
no,
Patty's gonna say, "Who needs an air fryer?" I use mine like twice a day sometimes.
I use mine all the time. I have Chef Man brand, and
Yeah.
uh, it's an oven style one. It doesn't have the drawer. It
Okay.
it it has 3 racks that go in, so it's
Okay. So you can
supplies
get
all
quite a few things on there.
quite a
Yeah.
bit in there, and it has an oven as a bake and a dehydrate function.
Okay.
So I can air fry in it, or I can just if I have something small to bake, and it's just me and my hubby, so sometimes I don't want to fire up my big oven, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
During a heat wave, air fryers are
oh yeah,
saviors, I think. Because
yes.
when there's a heat wave, people say, "Oh, we'll go outside and cook." It's too hot. It's too hot to
Well,
cook outside. Too hot to put your oven on. So
summertime in Tennessee with 90-degree with
yeah,
90-degree weather and 90% humidity. No, we're not cooking outside.
I know. I know. Okay, I'm gonna go over to the questions because we have a pile of them starting up here. Oh, first of all, just Jason Keto gifted a membership. Thank you so much. That is so generous of you. And Amy, thank you so much for the super chat for this support. Really appreciate that. Wow, you guys are generous tonight. So, Danny would like to know, what is your current favorite kitchen gadget? Oh, here we
Okay,
go.
seems simple, but my favorite kitchen thing that I am never without while I'm cooking,
Ah,
silicone spatula.
okay.
And I pulled this out because I was hoping we'd get to talk about silicone spatula. I want you to notice I cook with these every single day. Um, and I think I love them more than I love my pans. Uh, if you, I want you to look at it and see it's completely molded in one piece,
Okay.
and the end is nice and flexible, which is
So
good.
good for
A lot
scraping
of
the
them are super
sides.
stiff. Yeah, a lot of them are super
Yeah.
stiff. I find the super stiff ones aren't nearly as nice as this
Okay.
one. And I got this, I got this other thing at the thrift store, and I found it was only $1, so I thought I'd just get it so I could show you. Here's one. It's got a nice flexible end, but I don't
Yeah.
know if you can see. You see
Oh,
that
it's
little,
got it's yeah. Yeah, it's like two
it's a
piece.
hard plastic handle and a silicone blade. That is a problem. That little
Okay.
crack is going to collect crud, and it's also a stress point. So eventually, what's
Yes.
going to happen is this is going to break, or and you're going to get crud down in that little
Yeah.
crack. And if the more you clean it out, the more that's going to stress that little joint. You don't want them like this.
So one
You want
piece.
one one piece,
Good
no
advice.
crack.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's my
Sherry
favorite.
says, "Oh, that's your favorite thing." So yeah. Sherry says every chef worth their salt travels with their own knives. Sherry has
Yep,
got culinary training
yep.
from a culinary school as well. So thanks, Sherry. Um, yes, she had like this roll up thing where she rolled it out, took up half the table there, and there was knives galore in it. It was awesome to look at. The carnivore lion.
Oh
Patty
my
saved
God!
our retreat. Now, did I meet the carnivore lion? Was that week 1 or
That was
week
that's
2?
Scott. That's Scott.
Oh, Scott. Is it really
Yeah.
a new name? Okay, Anita was helpful. Oh, I guess I did meet you. Anita was so helpful too
Yes,
in the kitchen. Yes. Okay.
yes,
Okay. All
that's
right.
Scott.
Oh, she was. She saved it. Yes, she did. Anne, where do you recommend we buy your favorite tools on Amazon or specific website?
Um, you know where I buy my cookware, pots and pans? Is I buy my cookware, pots and pans at TJ Maxx and Marshalls because
Hmm.
they have higher end seconds, and you can go in there and you can buy really high end uh, brands like I said, All Clad, Calphalon, Le Creuset for half or a third the price that you would get it. And plus the fact that I don't like ordering, I just me, I have a problem ordering things that, and buying things that I don't get to see and put my hands on. I like to look
Right.
at and handle it because like I say, you want cookware that's the heaviest cookware you can comfortably handle. And if you can't handle it first, so I mean if there's a brand or a model of cookware that you already know you like, sure, you get it for a good price
Yeah.
on Amazon, go. And you know what? I brought this out just to show you because to give you an idea of how I shop. This is this is a bargain brand. It's Cooks by J.C. Penney. I love this pan. I use it all the time. I do have to be careful not to overheat it because it has an older Teflon coating on
Mm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really nice pan. It's good for making stew, deep skillet. But I found this pan, and you'll see it's got the kind of bolt. on the handle that I
Mm-hmm.
like. It does have the plastic grip, but I bought this pan for $3 with the lid at the Goodwill when I first moved here because my furniture and all my kitchen stuff got held up in the truck and I had to live without my stuff for like 3 weeks. So, and I still use this. So if you can recognize good cookware, you can go to the freaking thrift store
I think
and
that's a
find
really good
really
suggestion. I've seen
cookware.
stuff there. Sometimes it even still has a tag on it, or a store tag, because someone got it as a gift and didn't use it or whatever. So always a
Yeah. And
good idea.
so thrift store, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross are my favorite places to shop for pots and pans.
Yeah, we have Marshalls here and Winners, which are similar to those stores that you mentioned. So for
Right,
Canadians,
higher end seconds,
yeah, and Home
basically.
Sense. We have Home
Yeah,
Sense too.
yeah,
So okay,
we
all
have
right,
one. Yeah.
okay. Claudia has a question about buying home appliances for cooking. Is it worth getting a microwave with grilling option or a microwave at all? I'm mostly interested in carnivore or keto. I've never seen a microwave with a grilling option. I didn't even know that
I've seen
was a
that.
thing. Okay.
That's entirely up to you. I wouldn't use a grilling option in my microwave. I had a microwave with a grilling option once, and I used it very rarely.
Oh,
If that's
okay.
something that you're interested in using and you think you'll use it, well, sure, why not? But yes, I do have a microwave. I own a microwave. I use it every day. I'm a coffee drinker and I don't like to keep my coffee hot. So I make my coffee in a pot and then I turn it off and I leave it cold at room temperature all the time and I just heat it up by the cup. So I use my microwave all day long. And I thaw meat in the microwave sometimes. I do. I have a client that I cook for, and she's keto. She's not carnivore, and so I make meals for her, packaged meals, and I do microwave some things like veggies, blanching veggies or steaming veggies in the microwave and things like that. So I do use the microwave. I like them. Um, even I like to reheat things, reheat
Mm-hmm.
leftovers in the microwave. I like to cook a whole boatload of bacon at one time and then just warm it up and crisp it up in the microwave when I'm ready to eat it. So yeah, I think it's totally worth a microwave. And plus the fact that my husband's favorite meal is pork rinds with cheese melted on them like nachos.
There
So
you go.
he uses it.
All right, all right. So you are a yes for microwave.
Yes,
I'm
for
with you there. I know a lot of people, don't use it. They say there's issues. I've heard people, they comment on my channel and they'll say microwave is bad for you, and I will say to them, please send me this study because I've never seen it. I don't know where it is. I like, I'd like to read it, and I've never been sent one. Continuing to use my microwave.
There's people that I really, really like because I just trust them because they've never ever ever to this point steered me wrong. And these people that I follow, I don't necessarily want to go down that rabbit hole
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
who is it I like because people can go to my channel and look at my pinned
Sure.
subscription to find out who I like. But there's several people that some that I personally know and communicate with, influencers that just they they're like, no, I haven't and never seen anything that indicates that a microwave is damaging for anybody as long as you're using it properly. You're not
Right.
taking the impeller out of the case and trying to run it in the middle of your kitchen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah,
Okay.
I use mine every day. I
Yeah.
have no reason not to.
I feel comfortable with it as well. Blaze Becker, what size paring knife do you recommend? 3-inch or 4-inch?
It has everything to do with the size of your hand.
Ah,
The
okay.
bigger your
That's a
hand, the bigger the blade you're comfortable with. Use the size that you feel like you can manipulate appropriately.
okay. That makes a lot of sense. Kathy, hi Kathy. Which metal do you look for in a quality knife?
Stainless steel generally, but
Hmm.
some of these little anodized ones like this, like I said, this is not going to last you years and years and years, but for $5 or $6, if you need to replace it every
Hmm.
couple of years, and they stay reasonably sharp. This is the reason why this one's anodized is because it's not made out of stainless steel, or it's a less expensive stainless steel. But generally, stainless steel is what I look for.
Okay. Thank you for that. Mary O'Hare, when we purchase a ribeye roast and then slice it into steaks, what do you use? Well, I know what I use. I use this big one.
The knife,
Yes. Use your boning knife. Okay.
I use it. This is or if you have a butcher knife, you can use that.
Mm-hmm.
Use the longest bladed, sharpest knife that you feel comfortable using.
Okay. I have a boning knife, but mine is not long enough to cut steaks. So that's why I go to this one. This one is
Yeah,
the only one that I have long enough. And
and
it's almost a little too long.
make sure your meat is very cold,
Yeah.
as cold as you can get it without being frozen. If you can get it,
Okay.
so fresh out of the refrigerator, and if you have to put it back in the refrigerator for a little while to finish cutting it, do it. It's
Okay.
worth it.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that tip. Let me see here. Um, Melissa also uses her Victorinox for that. And oh, that's a good tip, Melissa. Sharp. Make sure you keep it sharp. Yes.
Get one of these and
Okay.
learn how to use a honing steel. Either that
Yes.
or you can use here. Let me show you this other thing that I have. This is a little inexpensive one, but this is a three-stage knife sharpening doohickey.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
run it through, it says 1, 2, 3 on the side. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. And you run it through side one, 8 or 10 times, and then you run it through slot two 8 or 10 times, and then you run it through slot three 3 or 4 times, and it keeps your knives. You can buy these without too much for not too much money, and some of them are really good. You can get expensive ones. I don't think you need to spend a whole bunch of money for them, but
Okay.
I have an old boning knife. You can see.
That
Whoops.
kind of looks like mine. I would,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I keep it very sharp with this thing.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
so
All right.
yeah,
Thank
that
you.
boning knife I've had since I started cooking school when I was 18.
Wow. You've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
Claudia, do you have advice or recommendation for freezing meat to avoid the freeze burn on the meat?
Okay. Wrap it as airtight as you can, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Get it as cold as you possibly can in the refrigerator before you put it in the freezer. And then make sure you make sure it stays as airtight. If you can wrap each individual piece like steaks or larger pieces of chicken like chicken breasts or leg quarters, wrap them individually and then try to use them within 6 months.
Okay. Um, I recently got a vacuum sealer and I love it. And I find that, because
That
you're
helps.
sucking all the air out, that the
What
no freezer burn on there.
what causes freezer burn is if there's air pockets inside. Oh, I have a fly. If there's air pockets inside the wrapping,
Mm-hmm.
what happens is that air will actually get the pull the moisture
Okay.
out of the meat, and then the moisture comes out to the top of the meat and it freezes. And that dry spot, that desiccated spot, is what is the freezer burn. So
Okay.
if there's no air, there's nothing to drag the moisture out. So
Yeah.
get it as
Okay.
airtight as possible and get it as
Yes.
cold as possible before you put it in the freezer so it freezes faster.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, air fryer recommendations. So, and there's another question down below that about what brand. So, what brand is your? I know you have the oven type.
Yeah.
Do you have a brand name on that one?
Mine is a Chef Man, and it wasn't because I'm totally into Chef Man, but
Right.
it was the features. Like I said, don't buy I don't buy anything just by brand name. I buy by features. And the it was a good price. I bought it when I was working at a particular retail store, and I got a good discount on it because for being an
Sure.
employee, and that's why. And it had the features I wanted. I like one that's a large capacity because I mean, who wants to cook 5 chicken wings at a
Right.
time?
Yeah.
That just seems weird to me. But anyway, um, and I like mine because, like I said, it's multifunction. It has a bake function and a dehydrate function as well as the air fryer function.
Okay.
And so those are the things I would look for: capacity and functionality.
Okay. So my air fryer is not the oven type. It's the indoor. It's the Ninja indoor grill, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to have the 5-in-1, and now I've got, I think it's the 6-in-1, and it's the type where the lid opens. You can use. I use. So it's they call it an indoor grill, but I use the air fry option and the air fryer basket most often with that. I pretty much cook everything on air fry mode, and
There's
I
some
love mine.
there's some French door ones that I've seen that I really like and that I probably would have bought.
I've seen those. Yeah.
Mine opens like a little oven door from
Right.
the top down,
Yeah.
but then it has a rack.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mine. If I want to look to see how it's doing, I have to open the lid and look inside.
Oh yeah,
And
mine has a
I
glass
think
door and a light.
I think a cool feature that Ninja could add is a little a peekaboo hole or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool. Um, oh, so Kathy, I think we answered that. So for me, it
That
was
was mine is
Ninja,
Chef Man
and
or Ninja.
Patty's is Chef Man.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What do you recommend for a good steak knife? Oh, since we all are eating steak.
Everything that I talked about with this one. I don't recommend serrations because you can't sharpen them. Actually,
Oh.
I have eaten steak with this paring knife many times. But here, let me just grab you one of my steak knives.
I'm going to grab one of mine too.
So this is again a Farberware, which is considered a economy brand. But you'll see full tang, 3 rivets, no serrations. I can hone it on my steel, get it nice and sharp. And these, I got 4 of these, I think, for $20.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to get it. I've got the totally wrong thing then. It's all one piece. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I can get it close to the, can
It
you
can
see that
all one piece at
it has
serration.
serration.
If
It's
you
all
like
one
serrations,
piece.
I don't like the serrations because I can't sharpen them. And once the little tippy of the points of the serrations start to wear down, it's no good anymore. You can't
I
sharpen it.
never I never thought of that, Patty.
And
You know,
eventually they will.
I looked at this and I went, ooh, that looks so
Ooh, it's
pretty.
pretty.
I bought it on looks. I'm going to admit it. Oh my goodness. Okay. There
That's
we go.
okay. I used serrated steak knives for years and years and years until I learned better. But yeah, so don't worry
I
about it.
no, I'm appreciating these tips because someday when I cannot sharpen these knives, I'll be looking for new ones. So,
Yeah.
oh, and I guess this next question, what should I look for in steak knives? Patty just told us, so thank you very much. Does anyone have a link for a good set?
I don't
You
have.
got, yeah, I
I
don't
bought these in
either.
a store. I bought these in a store. But
Same here.
I bet you if you just went on Amazon and looked for steak knives and just looked for the, full tang,
Yep.
riveted handle, no no serrations, stainless steel. If you just concentrated on that,
Yeah.
you'd probably find some really decent ones for not too much money.
We've gotten some great advice here on we don't need to know the brand, we don't need to know a special store. We just if we look for the pans and the pots and the knives with those tips that you've given us, we can buy the best thing that, we ourselves can afford at whatever
Absolutely.
price point that is. So
Exactly.
this is such great advice. So, Patty, I'm going to go over to the live chat. If there is a tool that you wanted to talk about in our remaining time, this would be a good time to bring it up. Oh, Dee Dee has just come to my defense here, or my rescue. She has serrated steak knives going on for 25 years. They're still sharp. Oh, hand wash only. Okay. I
Okay, you've
cannot.
probably got some really, really good stainless steel on those knives. So if you can get
Yeah.
somewhere that have really hard steel, then yeah, they can last. But unfortunately, most of that stainless steel that you see nowadays isn't terribly hard, and that's the problem.
Okay.
So good for
All right.
you. But
Yeah,
anyway, I
that
always say use what you like and what you're comfortable with because it's your kitchen.
that is good to know. I mean, I just didn't think of that with the serrated edges and all that. So that will be good. So I want to just give a couple of shout outs here. Just Jason Keto, thanks for coming. And Yvonne, Bonnie, Claudia, I'm just going to run through some names here. These are people that just always keep showing up to these live streams. I really appreciate it. Donna says, I use my cast iron pans on the grates of my gas barbecue. Keeps messy splatter
Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
Watch carefully though, because the barbecue gets up to 700 degrees. So bring the pan up to your desired temperature carefully. Thank
Yes.
you for
And
that.
keep in mind that cast iron stays hot a long, long time.
It really does. Sherry says, as a result of watching each of us, she has bought an air fryer and a set of silicone spatulas. That's awesome. She's upped her kitchen game and comfort
I've
immensely.
seen
I
Sherry
love
in my comment section on my videos.
I love hearing about this. When people are doing these. Donna says she could never live without an air fryer. Now, I have to say I agree with that. She has a spare one, so she'll never be without an air fryer. Good for you. Um, Melissa has put a recommendation for a countertop sharpener. Thank you so much. Ooh, this is guide for serrated knife. I might have to look at that. Okay, and
Oh,
we've got Carnivore Hippies links down in here. And let me see who else I did. Oh, Carnivore Collective is in the house. Never put your knives in the dishwasher. It's hard on the blade.
I
Okay,
rarely put my knives in the dishwasher. It really is
I
the
yeah.
grit in the dishwasher soap really does.
Okay,
Yeah,
something
really does.
I'm going to have to change, I think, because I kind of put mine in the dishwasher. Oh boy. All
You
right.
do you, boo boo.
I know. Silicone handle covers to protect your hands. So I guess that's on those
Yeah.
hot things. You know what the problem I had with I put a silicone handle cover one time on my cast iron pan, then I couldn't get it off. I had to fight with that thing to get it off.
They
So
have to be
I
big enough. They have to be the right size. That's the problem. If
yeah.
they're too big, they're easy to get on and off, but then the pan can twist in your hand, and that is tremendously dangerous. And if they're
Yes.
tight enough so that the pan doesn't twist, sometimes they're really difficult to get off. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Um, let's see
it's one of those things.
here.
I think you're comfortable with them, go for it.
So Sherry loves her Kasori air fryer oven with all those functions. And I've seen Kasori mentioned a lot in the comments. A lot of people seem to have that as either a dehydrator, or in Sherry's case, she's got the full deal there with the air fryer and everything. Low Carb Spin is in the house. Hello, ladies. Nice to have you here tonight. And we have Yvonne, who has a Jinsu knife set that she got 16 years ago for reward points from her bank. Way to go. Steak knives are still as sharp as ever, and you use them every day and you put them in the dishwasher. Whew. Think I'm okay.
A hard deal.
We'll see. They probably are. I mean, they're Henkel's. So I think Henkel's stainless steel.
Henkel's,
Yes. So
that's probably a pretty decent. Henkel's is a professional brand. I don't think those are probably not like made like professional knives, but Henkel's is a superior brand name.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they do have, like I said, even the real bougie brands have nowadays have economical lines that are meant
Right.
to be for less
Okay.
money.
All right. Okay. So let's see. We're almost. So did you have something else, Patty, that you wanted to bring up?
Somebody asked me about somebody asked and we got kind of distracted about my favorite
Okay.
kitchen appliance, and I will say since I started really exploring interesting ways to be creative with
Mm-hmm.
carnivore and keto, I have to tell you that I really value my food processor.
Mm.
It
That
allows
is
you,
that is a good yes.
and my stick blender. So as far as regular, my favorite tool that I use every day is going to be this, and my decent pans and my and a good sharp knife. Um, but as far as being creative in the kitchen and figuring out fun things to do, I really value, like for instance, my carnivore chocolate cake recipe would not happen without a food processor, and my
Right.
carnivore noodles don't happen without a stick blender. Or you could do it with a in a Ninja, I suppose, but my I like my stick blender. So yeah, those are my workhorses for being creative in the kitchen. Those two.
Awesome. So here's one. Here's a question. How do I remove the smell of salmon from my cast iron pan? Have you had any experience removing a lingering smell?
Um, like I said, used I haven't used
Okay.
it in
Okay.
several years
If
because I'm
you were faced with this issue, do you think the salt scrub?
uh I don't know that the salt. What I would do is put I would put like a paste of salt and oil in it, a good amount,
Okay.
a good amount of salt, and just let it sit for like a day, and then rinse it out with hot water and see if that would help. The other thing that you might could do, and this sounds odd, but the other thing that you might could do is put flour in it,
Oh,
because flour is well known to absorb odors. I
okay.
People say, yeah, well, baking soda absorbs odor, but baking soda is base, and that's going to eat your seasoning.
Okay. See, I
Want your
probably would
seasoning?
have mistakenly put baking soda on it, thinking that would
Baking soda
do
is
it.
base, and the fat that you're using to season your pan is acidic.
Okay.
So you want to keep you don't want to put lots of acid like vinegar in your pan, but you don't want to put anything that's really acidic, and you don't want to put anything that's really base in it. You want to keep it. I would put a salt and oil paste and try that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so Danny says she loves Chef Patty's channel. Thank you for introducing us to her. So yeah, this was so much fun. Unfortunately, our hour is up, and we've answered all the questions, I believe. Let me see here. Yes, that was the last question about the salmon out of the pan, the salmon smell out of the pan. So I want to say good night to everybody, and thank you guys so much. Please check out Chef Patty's channel if you haven't had the chance to do so already. She has got some great things. I always try to catch her new recipes within a couple of days. I see you're putting out more content now that after
Yeah, now
been
that
at the retreat.
well, I came home from the treat with that virus, and I just didn't
Right.
have the energy too much. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed your channel has been busy lately, so I was happy to see
yeah.
that because I just love what you do and your techniques and everything and learning a lot.
Hopefully it
So,
stay that way.
yeah. Okay, let's say goodnight, everybody. Say
Bye,
goodnight to Chef Patty here. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for being here,
everyone.
and we are out.